Hello students, today's lesson is on perimeter. Our learning objective is to be able to find the perimeter of a given shape, a shape that's been given to us. Our real life links are construction, geometry, architecture, art and design. Very similar to the last two lessons that you've had because we're still dealing with lengths, and because of that obviously our keywords will also remain the same. Now there's a big question here which we'll speak about towards the end of the lesson, but start off with, what is perimeter? Okay, the perimeter is what we call the distance around the outside of a shape. Okay, the outside of shape. That's the key part that we need to understand from here. Now, if you have a look at this simple rectangle, this green rectangle on the grid, now we have not been given the measurements. So what we can do instead is count the centimeter boxes. Okay, and if we count along here, there are in total 8 centimeters going across, and if you go down or up, either way, it's 6 boxes, so that's 6 centimeters. Okay, now if you go across again, we've got another 8 centimeters across the bottom, and then we're going to come back up to the point where we started from, which is the top left corner. So in total, the distance to go from one corner and go all the way around the shape and come back to the same corner, wherever you start from, that is called the perimeter. So what we can just simply do now is 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6, and that equals 28 centimeters. Okay, if the question or the shape was given in millimeters, our final answer would be 28 millimeters, and so on. Now let's have a look at a couple of examples here. So the first one, let's look at question number 1, very similar to the one we've just gone through. If we have a look, there's 5 boxes going downwards, so that's 5 centimeters, and there are 4 going across. Now, what do you think the perimeter will be? Again, we need to add up all the sides. If we do that, that would become 18 centimeters. Now, interesting point here. If we add 5 at 4, that equals 9. So how did we get 18? It's because a lot of the times you will be given a shape where they only give you 2 sides, and typically that's when you have rectangles, or sometimes even squares, they'll give you 1 side, because what they expect you to know is that with a square, obviously, if they give you 1 side, all the other sides are the same, and with a rectangle they'll give you, because the opposite side is also equal, which is why in this case the answer is 18, because it's 5 add 4 plus the 5 that's missing on the right side plus the 4 that's missing from the top. Just because they didn't give it doesn't mean we don't add it together. It is still part of the shape, and so that's why the answer is 18 centimeters. Question number 2, now again we've only been given 2 sides, but the answer is 20 centimeters because the opposite sides on each are also 7 and 3. So when you add them all together, that would give us 20 centimeters. Now, what I want you to do, a little practice. I want you to just pause the video, have a go at these questions. Don't worry about taking a picture or uploading these ones to class charts. This is more of a practice for you guys, okay? So just pause the video now, have a go, and we'll come back shortly. Okay, so we should have answered those questions either in on a piece of paper or in a book that from, and here are your answers. So the first one, 26 centimeters, 24, 19, 29, 16 meters. See how this one's meters because the shape is given in meters, and finally 26.2 millimeters. Okay, it's very important to give this correct units here. Okay, now before I give you your main task, now that we've had a practice, I'm just giving you these 2 shapes so I can show you what's going on here. Now if you have a look at the shape on the left side, that is what we call an equilateral triangle, and that is because all the sides are the same length, and the way we can tell that is because of those 3 little stripes. Okay, those stripes suggest that if that one side on the bottom is 8 centimeters, any other side with that same stripe on it will also be 8 centimeters, and obviously both the other sides have the strip on it, so they are 8 as well. Okay, and the perimeter for that shape would be 8 plus 8 plus 8, which is 24 centimeters. Now if you have a look at the shape on the left side, only 2 of the sides have that little strip on it, and what that means is that whichever sides have that strip, they will be the same length. So if you look at the side, the right side of that triangle, it's saying it's 22 centimeters. Therefore, the opposite side will also be 22 centimeters because it has the stripe as well. Okay. Now that you have that information, this is your main task for today's lesson. And what I want you to do is try each question on here. You do not need to draw the shapes. What you need to do is put a subheading, question 3 as a subheading, A equals and your answer, B equals your answer, and obviously C equals and then your answer. Make sure you include the units on the end. And then question 4, A, B, C, D, your answers. 5 and 6, you're going to do the same thing. But make sure you are putting your subheadings and then obviously labeling the questions A, B, C, and obviously with D if you for that one specific question. And as long as you do that, your teachers will be able to mark it properly, look through it, and give you the feedback if necessary. And that's all for today's lesson. Make sure you watch the video on Maths Watch on the Friday, which will help you with the more difficult questions. Okay. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next one.